Hello, it's Ben.
Hey Ben, this is John Chesson. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
So you should have Zach and Zach on here.
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing, Zach and Zach?
Howdy. Good.
Um, you want to give us? I know job numbers are really important for you, John.
Mhm.
Can you just give us the 3 or 4 or 5 minute review of what you want to do?
Okay. So, what we are looking for, we're a small manufacturing company. We manufacture fittings, and what we do is we take those fittings, we send them outside for some processing. We bring them back in. Some of those fittings go straight to a customer. Some of those go into assemblies. So we have, and then from the assemblies, we take those assemblies, we take orders, and we ship per the orders on a daily basis. Um, what we're looking for is, we have, we make components, and some of those components ship only as components, and some of those components become components that are in assemblies as part of a bill of materials.
Right.
And so the only curveball in that whole mix is there's a scheduling piece in the assembly side, where we want to make sure that we have some way to say, hey, we've hit a stocking level. It triggers a make. We pull our components, we make the parts, we restock.
Okay. Is Zach Ahern on the line? I see him in the meeting. I don't know if he's actually.
Yeah, I'm
Are
here.
you there, Zach?
Yep.
How are you feeling about showing your job number stuff?
Zach S has been the primary on that up to now, so ask him.
Oh.
Pretty
So
good
Zach,
with the stuff that I've done so far. I feel pretty confident with. We haven't touched receiving yet, though.
Okay. So I apologize for us seeming a little disjoint here, John, but just trying to figure out the best way to demo for you so we're smooth. I guess I'll turn it over to Zach. And do you want me to do the intro, Zach, or do you want to do it? You want to take the whole thing, Zach Schneider?
Just a normal overview of iPull and then just the job system as we go.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take over.
I made you the presenter, Zach.
Sure.
So let me give you while Zach's getting ready. We've been in business since '96, and we do custom inventory systems. We have a stock system that we hope is like 95% of what you need. And then, for the little one-offs, hopefully that you have, we customize it to meet your need. So, and we integrate with QuickBooks and Sage 50, UPS, FedEx, all of your standard systems. And, if you had a e-commerce or some sort of special accounting system, we would, interface with it. We do EDI interfaces. And the other thing you'll see when Zach demos this is there's a lot of customization that's available to you without having to contact us. You can change field labels and turn fields on and off and all sorts of stuff like that.
My Google Chrome is not responding, so if I get dropped, that's why. It's just... Here, I'm going to restart. Sorry about that.
Well, here, let me start.
Okay, I'll join in a second.
Can you see my screen, John?
I see a white screen. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a browser-based application. So there's nothing to install on the client side. We like Chrome. You can try Firefox. We kind of steer you away from Internet Explorer and Edge. But So we like Chrome.
Okay.
There's so because it's browser based, you can host it, we can host it, Amazon Web Services could host it. You know, you can host it almost virtually anywhere.
Okay.
If you host it in-house, you have the ability to, or more easily control making it not internet-based. So you could lock it down so that, you know, the only people that can get to it are the people inside your four walls.
Okay.
But there's really no reason to do that. You can put it on the internet, and there's user and group permissions here.
Okay.
You have system users. And then what you can do is put the users into groups, okay? And our basic system comes with, you know, admin, customer, employee, and supplier, which are just standard groups. But you can make new groups on the fly, and then what you do is you assign group permissions to each group. What each group can do. Okay, so admin can obviously do everything, and you can see everything's checked off here.
Okay.
But if you click on customer, you can see that most everything is not checked off. You know, most everything is left blank. So a customer would be able to come in and check an order status. The other, you know, I don't know that we have some business to commerce interface here. So like if you wanted to give some of your customers the ability to come in and like place an order for parts, we have a screen in here where they could come in and literally place an order. Okay. It doesn't do the credit card processing and stuff like that. It literally would just take their order, and you know, it would give them the ability to, you know, place an order without sending you an email or a fax or calling in or however your customers would normally place an order. This is just like an alternative for it. You know, it lets them directly go in. They could say, you know, I want, I gotta pick, normally this would default when a customer logs in, it would default to their stuff so they wouldn't have to fill anything out. But they could say, I want, you know, 5 of these and 4 of these. And then they just click save. And it's going to bring those 2 to the top. They review the order. And they could put a special note in here, like for job XYZ. And then they could place the order. And then they would just place the order. It didn't like the fact that I typed that in a little out of sequence. So it just created the shipping order for this customer, okay? So here's the link to that order. And I picked Acme Manufacturing, and you'll see there's 2 line items on the order, one for 5 and one for 4. So this would be something that your you know, your inventory people would fulfill and send out to a customer. So that being said, I kind of jumped around a little bit there. This is the heart of the system, your items.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Okay. You can put pictures of your items in here. Okay. You can put as many pictures as you want. So if you wanted to have like a top, bottom, side view, you could put different views. There's a whole bunch of attributes for each item. I think there's like 85 or I don't know, there's some, keeps growing. And instead of tabs across the top, we kind of have tabs down the side here. So if you wanted to see the reorder points, these are important to you, I know.
Yes.
So you can say that the reorder level is at 20. You know, you want to order in groups of, I don't know, 12, a dozen. And let's see, fill to, I don't know, 48. Okay. So this is 07, 200, 400. And then we have, in the utilities section, in the wrong place.
Trying to do the reorder points?
Yeah, is it?
You can do that right out of the item master list.
Yep. Yeah, on the item, the setting there allows you to set the default reorder point for that item. The specific reorder point can then be set per each warehouse on top of that. So if you click on reorder level column.
Oh, yeah, this is what I...
You set the default, but we already have a bunch of warehouses in here, so you'd have to set.
Okay. See, that's why I shouldn't be doing these demos. Are you back on, Zach?
Yeah, I should be good now. Chrome crashed earlier.
Okay. So it's up and you're ready to go?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just, I mean, I'm here. So you can have multiple warehouses. I don't know if this applies to you or not. You know, you probably don't. You probably just have one central warehouse. But if you ended up with multiple warehouses, you could. You can have locations in your warehouse. So, you know, bins or aisles, stocks, staging areas, whatever.
How many locations can you, so I see dock, I see A1, are those like shelving locations?
Yeah, it's virtually unlimited. It's a SQL Server database, and we don't limit you. So you can have as many locations as you want. So I can add one here. I'll add a location, John. I could type. I think there's, so now if we go back to the list, that's how easy it is to add locations, okay? And you'll find that the navigation is pretty similar from screen to screen. Okay. So once you get used to the navigation, it's pretty easy. You can print the labels. So if you want a bin label, or you know, a shelving label, whatever, if you get into barcode scanning, or if you just want to label things so people know where stuff is. So going back to the item master list, here's another label, a generic label for the item ID. Okay, and we tend to customize these labels. So if you need a different field, you know, add a field, remove a field, change the format, change the size. That's all kind of part of the system delivery. Okay, so we kind of include that in the, we expect you to want changes to that stuff. I guess I'll turn it back over to you, Zach, since...
Cool, I'll pick up with issuing and receiving.
Right, there you go.
I did a quick question. When you were adding an item,
yeah, sure.
You had an item and you were adjusting your reorder points. One of the fields in there was demand. Is that like you know, monthly or annual demand, or what is that?
It's whatever you want it to be. You'd have to tell us how you want that formula to work.
Well, actually, by default in the system, Ben, it is monthly demand, and we do have utilities to calculate it. But again, like Ben said, we can customize that if you wanted to do something like annual or something like that.
Okay.
Hardly anybody uses it.
Okay. Well, it's depending on how it works. One of the things we have is our customers send us. You know, we have let's say we have 350 assemblies, and every month they say, okay, for every single part number, these are the these are the new demands. Given now it's May and the demands have changed. These have gone down, these have gone up. Okay. We'd like to just take all 350 of those numbers and dump them in, and then
give you
allow our obviously, and allow our warehouse and our scheduling, all our levels to reset based on those numbers. So that for us, that would be valuable.
Is that part of the standard import export for the item master? The demand
yeah,
number?
the field is on the item master list. import and export. So you can just use the standard imports to update that data once a month. And then if you needed added to some reports, we could easily do that.
So basically, we have an inventory template that you can basically put all your inventory in. I'm pulling it up right now. All you need to do is fill the information in, and it'll just import all of the inventory in.
Okay, so so I could just dump them all into a spreadsheet, within this template, and then take that, upload it into the system, and it automatically.
Yep, you delete the first 3 lines.
Column W.
I see.
Yeah, you delete the first 3 lines, and then you just meet the template.
Okay. And
there's a lot of information that you can add. Some required fields, I think, are warehouse, item ID, and I think those are the only 2 that are required. But there are a lot that are recommended, like number of stock, I think might be required.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just wanted to update the monthly demand every month, you could literally just dump, the items that you want to change, and then, put that monthly demand column in, and boom, that's all you got to change.
Yep.
Everything
so you
else
basically would
Yep.
download it out of the system with all the current data, update the demands, and then upload it back in.
Right.
Yep, we have an export functionality right here. Okay. This will basically put it into a spreadsheet that's the same as the imports template. So you can all you have to do is change the monthly demand column.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll try and shut up. I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut, so.
No problem.
I'm going to be quiet.
All right, so iPull has receiving and issuing stock functionality. So say you receive whatever parts to whatever warehouse. We can go with this iPod. We receive 5 units. Each one costs $30. This location, we'll just save it. Receive. And that's how easy it is to do a basic receive. However, this item requires a serial apparently. I got unlucky with my pick.
What is that?
There we go. So this will work. There we go. So that's how easy it is to receive. But we also have functionality for purchase orders. And these are like a more complicated advanced version of receiving where you can create your own purchase orders and it will use the same receiving grid for when you complete a purchase order. So we can generate the purchase order number automatically, or we can make it so we can fit whatever need you desire for your purchase orders if you wanted to rename them to whatever your standard is.
Okay.
So all you need to do a purchase order is you would select the items you need to purchase. It'll automatically fill in whatever the base unit price you set for the item is. So units over here is the number of units you're buying. The number of PO units is the number of this unit of measure you take. So for example, if you got a case of 10, that'll fill 1 case of 10 is 10. So if we change this to 2 and save it again, it'll change it to 20. Most people just stick with each, but a number of people do enjoy the functionality to have like 20 cases or 20 items by buying 2 cases. You can select the item you want this to go to. Set any additional information, like if you had your own instructions for these items, like handle with care or something.
Right. Okay.
So this is you didn't get to put the job number on the PO side, you said.
No, it is there. I'm just using here. Yeah, I can do it right here. I have 2 of them open, one with the job number and one without. So, for example, if you wanted to add a job number to the PO, It's right here. So I currently created 2 example jobs, one for an Acme construction site and one for RDC Electrical. And when you create the PO, you can add the job number, or at any point, you could just go in and change it. And these can be anything. They can be numbers, they could be names like I have it set to. And I was just going to cover the jobs all at once, just to show off all the functionality they have. So let's quick finish up purchase orders, and then I'll dive into the job system.
Okay.
So this will bring us to that receiving screen from earlier, and it'll bring all of your purchase order information in. You can either receive full orders like we have now, or we could receive a partial order by changing the number of units we're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So if you received only one of these iPod Classics, you can receive one for now, and then when you do receive the other one, you can come back in and finish up your order.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, we'll just do a receive. We'll go back to the purchase orders so we can view it. You change from current up here to completed so you can see all of your completed purchase orders. And then by clicking the PO column here, it'll show you the document that's created. And this is all the information for that purchase order.
Ah, okay.
All right, so for jobs, currently we have jobs functionality for purchase orders, shipping orders, work orders, repair orders, and appointments. So basically, it's as simple as any of these orders here, all you'd have to do is pick one, and there's a job drop-down on all of them. You just attach it to the job you're working on, and it will apply this to that job. So let's create a new job.
I have a I'm trying to figure out how that would apply to what we do specifically. So you've got, so for me, would a job be like a part number? I need to make part number ABC. I would apply a purchase order to that, or because I mean I hold stock of components, and from that component stock I build parts.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I made too much of a big deal about the job number. It sounds like you actually don't really need it. It sounds like you need the reorder points more than anything.
I think the reorder points, a bill of materials, so I can manage my component inventory as well as my assembled inventory. Those are the huge parts I'm looking for.
Which we do have.
Bill of materials, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we also have a report for it as well. So we have a nice report for these as well. It'll go over the labor hours, labor cost, units, material cost, yield. It sounds like a lot of what you want is work orders.
Yeah. I think I guess what I would like to see is my assembled inventory, my assemblies, hit a trigger point, and it creates a work order to consume some components and create new assemblies to backfill and replenish.
Hey Zach, do you know if we can do that currently? Just replenish via work orders? I don't think he's here right now. We'll just go over the work order process a while. Ben, do you know if we can do that?
Well, an assembly can have, the min, the max, and the reorder, so you can generate an order for it. Normally, it would create a purchase order to buy more, but you could. It's too bad we don't have Ben Walker around here too. One of them would know. I would think it would automatically generate a work order if the item is a make. If you go back, yeah, items have the ability to be a make, which means you're going to use work orders to create them and consume the components. So I would think if if your min was a dozen and you were down to 6, it would automatically generate a work order to create, whatever your fill to point is, 18 if your
Yeah.
fill to was 24.
Yeah.
So
So it'll automatically
Can you-
generate the work order.
yeah, well, I mean, why don't you just go back to an item that's in assembly, Zach?
Sure, let me pick one. So we've got B80 here.
Right. So look at the reorder points for that.
Okay. B80.
Just paste it. Okay.
All right,
Set some reorder points.
Yeah.
Make them
So
high. Make it, like.
Are you trying to see if the system will suggest work orders for?
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't do that. We'd have to custom program something in to suggest work orders.
So
can do
it
that.
only suggests purchase orders?
Yeah, we only have a utility for suggesting transit and purchase orders at the moment. We'd have to make another utility for work orders.
Is that something we can do, Zach?
Yeah, it should be doable.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like we currently have that functionality in the system, but we can add that in. And just to clarify what you want out of that, when it drops below a certain point, you want us to create up to a fill to point, correct?
Correct. That would be, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. You just create a work order based on that. All right, so would you want to go into the job system more, or you kind of
No, it doesn't need that.
doesn't need it? Okay.
But the work orders have statuses. You can see the requested started
Mhm.
open.
Yep. There's also a bunch more as well. Completed. You can just, for example, this assembly assembled 2 out of 2. Trying to find one that's partially made. Doesn't look like we have one right now. Yeah, so let's just create an example. And you can also change the status ID on a work order. So basically, a work order will just take what you would select the assembly you want to make and the number of units to make it. So we'll make 2 iPod Cs, and then we'll get all the components for that. And it'll just fill in all of the information that you'll need for it.
Okay. This becomes
Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have enough in stock to process this one here.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't there a report too that shows all the items that you're basically don't have enough on hand to make the work orders? Isn't there?
There might be. I don't know off the top of my head. There's like 200 something reports. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Which one is it? Which one, Ben, do you want me to bring up?
I thought it was committed stock.
Oops, sorry about that. Doesn't look like that's what you're thinking of. It looks like this is all the stock that's being used up by work orders.
Yes, that's everything that is required for open work orders.
Right. I mean, we could just add a column, to show the difference.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you'd like to go over then?
You're asking me?
Yeah, is there anything you're looking to get out of the system that I can go into detail about?
Well, there are some things that, so there's, let's see here, a couple things. There's on the reporting side.
Yes.
I mean, obviously I need to know what I have in inventory. I need to know what my levels are and kind of what I need to make, that kind of stuff. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of how things work. But things like automating some cycle counting, or
Okay.
so let me give you a quick list here real quick. So cycle counting, I want to be able to verify my inventory, make sure that things have not gone out wonky. Heat mapping, that's something like, these are my slow movers, my A, B, C parts, like my A parts, I want to make sure are, once a quarter, I'm bringing those down and keeping them very accessible. My C parts are in the back corner, the ones I don't care about that never move, making sure I'm organizing my inventory, things like that. I think integration with automation, if I want to tie like a robot picker, is that something I have the ability to do? So those are some of the as I'm kind of thinking through what kind of information can I get out of the system that'll help me manage my inventory. Especially if I'm looking down the road, we're looking at automation and things like that. How do I, is the data accessible for if I wanted to connect it with a robot picker or something like that.
Yeah, let me start from the beginning there. In terms of cycle counts, we do have a cycle count system built into Inventory Pro Online. With the mobile application, you can go out in the warehouse, count your locations, and submit those. And then on the desktop application, you can review the counts and basically review them, see what the differences are, post them if they need to be posted, or review it if there's a big discrepancy. From there, in terms of integration with like an automation, robot or something like that to pick orders, we do have a fairly open database, and it would really just depend on, we'd probably have to make a custom service to pass the data across to the machine, but I don't see, why in the future that wouldn't be something we could do. Additionally, in terms of reporting and things like that, Inventory Pro Online, we have over 200 reports to start with, and we can easily add more reports on top of that if you need to see a specific view on the information. So for example, for the ABC movers, we can easily set up something based on your parameters to easily show you, what should be at the front of the warehouse, what should be at the back, things like that. So.
Okay. As far as, I had a quick question there.
We have a field for ABC movers now. It's on the item master. So you just have to set the field.
The problem is I don't think any clients have used that in a long time. So.
Right.
So I know it's there in the database, but I don't think we've had anybody use it for a long time, so it would need some testing and just kind of review.
Okay.
So on the database side, real quick, I know I've built SQL databases in the past. I've built some applications, so I have a general idea of how things interact and work. One of the things that I like is having the ability to go and look at the tables and see my data and be able to query it. Would I have that ability to do that with the system?
We do open up access to some clients. Generally though, when it's hosted on our servers, we do try to keep it as locked down as possible. If it's installed on your own server, you can easily access it and do whatever you need to do. As far as transactions go, we would recommend that you run all of your transactions through the program, just to make sure you don't make any mistakes or mess up the data in any way. But you can easily query it, if you have a local server set up.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I can do, John,
like Crystal Reports and other programs like that to tie in.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll punch a hole in the database, in our firewall, and give you a access to a backup copy of it.
Okay.
So, you can do whatever you want to the back, and we can make the backup as fresh as you want. That way, you can do whatever you want without really hurting do all your reporting or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's looking at the data, crunching numbers, making sure things make sense. That's really what I'm after. And if there's a report that does that, that I can hopefully dump into Excel, and manipulate the data there in Excel, then that's ideal.
Well, actually, I mean, if you have familiarity with SQL, Zach S., can you click on the definition button right there?
Sure.
You can actually modify and create your own reports within the application.
Okay, I see.
As an admin, so if you'd like, you can actually come right in and, if you find a new report that you want to make by looking at the database, you can put that right into here for yourself.
Right. And also, if you go back, Zach, to the screen before, wherever you see the export button, which is on almost every grid we have, it creates an Excel spreadsheet out of that current grid.
Oh, okay.
And that's on every screen. So wherever you are, you can pretty much make an Excel spreadsheet. Plus, you got the import-export utilities, which are doing that for you as well.
And another nice thing is that when we give you the system, we'll also give you a test system to kind of play around in. So if you do end up breaking something, it'll be on a test site with non-volatile data. So
yeah, not live. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this is a test site right now, so I can do whatever I want here, and I can just load it right back.
Okay.
You can change logos.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a suppliers catalog, so if you buy parts from different suppliers, you can get different lead times or different pricing or whatever from different suppliers. And we also have item ID aliasing in there, so if you call something XYZ and somebody else calls it ABC, you can relate the two.
Okay.
Yep.
We've done that with a lot of times people use UPC codes. I don't know if you get involved with UPC codes at all yet, but a lot of people have internal item IDs and then they go out and get a UPC system and they've got to convert their stuff. So it's a way of translating between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Then we cover. Go on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say we cover also shipping orders as well as purchase orders. So if you wanted to ship things out as an order, nice and easy and streamlined. You can also apply a bill to location. Usually you'd want to keep it the same though. It'll automatically fill in their address.
Okay.
And shipping out's nice and easy. It won't let you ship out something that doesn't exist. It'll automatically fill in all the price levels that you set. You can also apply different price levels. So you can have about 10 different price levels, I believe. And you can have that set for to just pick a price level out of that list for each shipping order.
Wholesale, retail, cost, whatever. Okay.
Right. You can do it per customer. So, if you have a really high volume customer, you can give them a different price level than your retail customers.
Okay.
What are you using today for an accounting system, John?
We have a system called Estitrack. It's a company started about 20 years ago, actually here in Ohio. They're not huge, and it's a flat database. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it has an inventory management suite. It has a production suite. It's got all these great things, but I don't believe we set it up correctly at the front end. So all the data is kind of, there's no bill of materials, there's no item master. It's just one giant spreadsheet on the back end.
Ouch.
So it's kind of ugly, but we've used it for so long that to transition to anything else is going to be very, very challenging. So one of the things that we want to do here is kind of start with our assemblies and then kind of back our way into seeing what other options we have. So right now it's just the warehouse management. We're not even going to look at the financial side of it at this point. It's more just the inventory, quantities, location, transactions, building parts, that kind of stuff. But with an eye to the future, that if that step goes well, what else can we do with the system, and
No problem.
can we migrate some data and move forward?
We also offer training to make sure that you're comfortable with the system before you start going into it.
As far as that part of it, so I going through the website, obviously you can get it, either on site, or you could host it, or there's different options. Right. Is it a can you try it before you buy it, or do you have to buy it and then you can see what it's all about, or how does your normal process work?
We can certainly spin up a site for you, and you can try it for 30, 60 days, and absolutely, you can try it first.
Okay.
And I mean, I would suggest that just from a training perspective, it's the best way to get comfortable with it.
Sure.
We would basically spin you up a development environment, which is really easy for us to spin up. And then if you can get that table maybe from your accounting system, and either give it to us raw and we'll put it into our import-export format, or you can convert it into that format and then just import the data. And then you're pretty much off and running.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad data there, though, so I think on my end, I hate to, put it in raw, from scratch, but I think it's the right way to do it. I mean, I'm sure we could macro it in somehow, but it's not pretty. So,
I assume your customers are in there, your suppliers are in there, all your basic lists are in there.
Yeah.
So we have, in the import-export, we have all of those, the abilities to import those.
Okay.
And I mean, if you're good with those SQL tables, on the dev side, we can open it up so you can connect to them and, write directly to the table.
Okay. Save some steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can spin you up a development site for sure.
Okay. All right.
Can I continue? Should I continue with the shipping orders then?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Just wanted to make sure we're all good.
I would just run through the documents real quick, Zach. Why don't you pick up an already done shipping order and show them the packing slip and the pick list and the invoice.
We already covered the purchase order one. Yeah, so we got 4 main documents for shipping orders. These are all customizable by clients. Most clients will request one slightly customized. So this is a packing list. You'd usually put this on the box. You got an invoice which covers all the monetary stuff with the shipping order. Pick list, which is all the items in the shipping order, and all the different location information.
John, do you guys ship internationally at all? Do you do like customs documents and stuff like that, or are you pretty much domestic?
Oh, it's all domestic. Occasionally, we'll UPS something to, someplace in Europe or whatever, but that's UPS.
I want a completed one. And then the shipping orders preview.
Okay.
And this is just an overview of everything in the shipping order.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, do you ever quote, when you're buying stuff, do you ever send out like a request for quote to your suppliers? Do you get competitive bidding on you? Yeah, we can do that. Help you with that too.
Okay.
Were you about to say something then?
That's okay. I thought John was going to ask something, so I flip it back to him.
What was I going to ask? Hold on a second. I got sidetracked.
Oh, the other thing you can do in here, John, while you're thinking about that, there's a packages tab there that on the orders. So if you were to ship, if you had a really big order and you were shipping out in multiple packages, you can put the tracking numbers in here, and then we can set up emails. We can set up emails that'll automatically go out to your customers with the tracking numbers on them.
Okay.
It'll be a live link to FedEx or UPS or wherever. So, yeah, there's shipping labels in here. So we do have automatic email notifications. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what triggers you'd want, but we have them. So.
Okay. Let me ask you this real quick. I remembered my question. So, so what happens here is, we have all these assemblies, and we've talked about the management side. Like we got we triggers, we make, we replenish. So on the shipping side, what happens here is we get orders twice a week, and we'll get an order, for I don't know, let's say 150 part numbers, and for one part number, it might go to 3 different warehouses around the country. And so one warehouse might get 50 pieces, another might get 200, another might get 1,000. And so we get all these orders in, they come in, the customer actually provides us with the pick list and all that great stuff with the locations and everything else. But they also send us a spreadsheet with all the same information. For the ease of transacting all of that, if I were able to take that spreadsheet and put it in some kind of a template, that information, and upload it to the system to say, hey, here's what the customer wants. What do we got? What do we need to make? Is there something we have to adjust in the next day or two to be able to get this out?
Yeah, sure.
Is there a way
on
to
the
do
utilities?
Yeah, we do have an import and export for shipping orders at the moment.
Right.
If you can convert it into the standard format, it should work, from the start. If you'd like us to automate conversion, from their format into the system, might have to do a little customization there. But
okay. It's just a spreadsheet, so I think it's a matter of, how do I get my data into, your format, if that's a possibility.
Yeah, so Zach, Schneider, do the utilities and the shipping. Is there, or isn't there one? If you do utilities?
Sure.
Yeah, there's one in there.
Yeah, so the shipping order template, if you open the shipping order template,
yeah.
Oh, I see.
So this is the format we, by default, we'd like to see.
Okay.
But, this is pretty easily tweaked too, so.
Okay, so the item ID, quantity, delivery, notes, customer PO, all that kind of stuff. So, okay. Yeah, my biggest thing is, where am I shipping it? What is the part and how many? Those are my
there you go.
Big.
Yeah, it's already here.
Yeah, the core pieces of data that I think we'd be looking for, and I think the only other. Yeah, I think that's right.
Do you track lot numbers at all when you're manufacturing? Do you put a lot number on your stuff? Do you have?
We should. We do. There is traceability. There is traceability on the part itself. There is a number that gets imprinted on every single part that says, this part was made with this material, during this year and this month by us. And so, and on the shop order itself that we have currently created, we write down the heat code of the material, the lot number, and all that kind of stuff. So we are able to go back and find that traceability if there's an issue with product.
Okay. Yeah, I think we keep track of 2 serial numbers on a lot. Is that what it is?
It's 2 serial numbers and an optional RFID tag. So we've got data if you wanted to track. We've got the fields if you wanted to track more data on your process.
Okay.
expiration dates too. I don't think that would probably apply to you, but
probably. Well, the only time it would is if we have like some rubber gasket material that has an expiration of like 20 years from now or something. But even that shouldn't apply. We don't hold more than 2 or 3 months of stock. But
hey, Schneider, how about showing the audit trail report? That's another kind of nice report.
Sure, I think it's a great feature in iPull. So basically, we have a report called the audit trail. You can access it either through the inventory or through reports. Basically, this is one giant receipt starting from the day the system starts all the way till eternity, where it'll keep track of everything that's ever happened in the system. So, for example, I could set a filter for a certain date. So maybe, oops, there we go. Date is greater than the 8th. I'll save it. Report view.
So the database resets weekly, so
Oh,
the date's probably you probably have to put in like 2017 or something like that to get.
Old.
okay. I'll just
Do
do.
less than.
All right.
That's guaranteed to find something.
Yeah, there we go. This will be everything recent,
Mhm.
or not recent. I had it opposite. So,
The other thing, John,
for
is all of
example,
the columns. If you click on the columns, it'll sort by the column.
oh, okay.
yep. So this is the oldest. This is the most recent.
Okay.
So, for example, if I wanted to find everything done today, well, that's interesting.
Did we run any transactions?
I don't think.
Oh no, we didn't. That's right. We never finished.
Yeah, I don't think we actually clicked the receive button or issue button.
Yeah. So if we would have done something today, we could have filtered into there. That's my bad.
No worries.
Yeah. So basically, the audit trail is a giant receipt for everything that's ever happened in the system.
Okay.
Additionally, we do have the ability to log the changes that occur on each table in the system. So, for example, we can track, when somebody changed something, what the old value was, which is useful, for example, when people receive in the wrong serial numbers and you have to edit it after the fact, or, for example, if you're trying to track down somebody made a bad change somewhere, you're trying to track down who did it,
Right.
things like that. So, we do have some advanced tracking and auditing capabilities there.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see the types of orders you did, shipping orders.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
I didn't think there was a question. Was there?
Yeah. No. I think
so
what
you
we
can basically
should do,
see all the
is spin up a development system for you and let you play with it, and then just start asking questions.
Yeah. Oh, I did have one other question. Is there a if I, let's say I'm going to make like let's say our inventory on the assemblies triggers, I need to make 50 pieces of this assembly. Comes up with a work order. Does the work order, from a location standpoint, I need to go find my components? Is there each component can be defined at a location?
Yep.
Is there a way for that to be on the work order so I know where to go find stuff?
I think there's a pick list for it.
Yeah, there's a work order pick list. I'm pretty sure there is.
Whatever's in my bill of materials, if it's in, and I can define, like if I've got let's say I've got a rack and there are, 60 locations in that rack. There's let's say 10 rows or 10 columns, 6 rows high, 6 shelves high. Can I define each location within a rack?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That was the locations,
Yeah,
the
that would
warehouse
be
location.
Yeah, and we
up
also
here.
allow
So
you to define the pick path through the warehouse, and then that will be used on the pick list when generating, the order, at least from our system. So it'll make sure that you're going, from the front of the warehouse to the back, or maybe from the back to the front, depending on how you want your process to work there.
Okay. Can you give me 1 second here? Hold on.
no problem.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Oh, no problem.
No problem.
Is there anything else you'd like to cover then?
No, I think it would be. I think it'd be good. Like I think if we could put together a test system, like you said, that I can, I could take maybe like 10 part numbers, and all their component, kind of like build a little microsystem just to play around with it. I think that would
Absolutely.
be for me.
Yeah, we'll spin
We
up
can
a
also
system for it.
we can also give you the test information if you'd like, which is what's in this database. It's just a bunch of non-existent inventory you can use for testing.
Yeah, no. This is junk. Let's just let him build his own.
Okay.
Well, good. So, all right. Well, that sounds good. So, what do we do now?
It'll only take us a little while. We'll email you the link to
Okay.
get to it with a username and a password, and then you can just work with us. We'll send you the user manual and stuff, but you'll be able to populate it using those utilities. You could manually enter the stuff too, but whichever way you choose, and then we'll just work with you to walk you through it. However long it takes.
Okay. I appreciate that. It seems fairly. It doesn't seem. I guess it seems simple, but it seems like it has mostly everything I'm looking for. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you get used
let me.
to it, it'll be better.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll make more sense.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to kind of dig into it, without ever seeing it before for an hour and really get a good full grasp of it,
Yep.
But
yeah, we've been working on it for 25 years, so there's a lot of stuff here.
That's good. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, sir. We'll get it to you.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time today.
Oh, no problem.
Cool. All right. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.